What is up, guys? How are we doing? Let me get out of that. There we go. Let's do a 1440, so that's good. So, guys, just waiting for some folks to get in here. Look at this. General, that's on. Not working right. Should be right. Spam. Spam email. Check this out. All right, let's see if this is working. What's up, Tim? What's up, Shine? Let's see. All right, yeah, they're popping in. It just took an extra second or two. We got a Sean says, I'm kind of surprised. Yeah, I'm a little surprised myself. What's up, RB? What's up, secret agent? Anyone else surprised? Or just me and Shine? Tim says, glad Fury won. I didn't really care either way. To me, I mean, I don't know. I never thought Wilder was all that good, honestly. Um, he's like haymaker after haymaker after haymaker in general. He's just powerful and he lands and he's bigger than most guys. But when he's fought guys his size, he's had more trouble. He's not a bad fighter per se, but not a not not so I don't know. I guess just the caliber of fighter in general. Look at we got Bama says Fury whooped that ass. I mean, he definitely did. I thought it was crazy that they didn't stop the fight earlier, honestly, because Wilder was bleeding out of his ear like crazy since the first, what was it? I forgot whatever round he first got knocked down in, second round. Um, so that was kind of shocking to me because when somebody's bleeding out of the ear like that, if it's not a cut, that's bad business, you know? So it is what it is, though. What else we got here? Thomas says super surprised. I mean, I don't know. Eh, most people like initially were like, oh, like here we go, like RB, right? Says that was a good fight. Was it really a good fight? Like it was one guy getting beat up nonstop, and then the early part of the fight, they were both missing like crazy. Their connection percentage in the first round was something ridiculous, like 28% and 32%. Second round was around the same. Fifth round, Wilder didn't even land a single punch until the last 10 seconds. Not one. He landed like three pity pat shots at the end of I think it was the fifth or whatever. When he was just pummeling him. And I'm like, that was crazy. Um I just saw one guy get totally beat up and abused. Like that's what it was the whole fight. It's kind of sad. Like it is what it is though. You know, I definitely think that he probably popped his eardrum because the amount of blood that was coming out of there, I can't imagine that he didn't. And that's going to throw off your equilibrium for sure. So he was just unsteady after that the whole rest of the fight. But I don't know. I didn't really I didn't really think that um I don't know that it was a really good fight. I just thought it was okay. What's up, Lulu in the house? I was definitely kind of surprised. Like shocked isn't really the right word, but I didn't expect Fury to really come forward that much the way he was, like just nonstop pressure. So it was uh definitely an ass whooping. That's for sure. Wilder didn't do pretty much anything tonight. I was saying in the Telegram chat that Wilder put on like something like what was it like 30 pounds more than he weighed the first time they fought, around 30 pounds. and he looked like his it made him look so disproportionate. Like normally his legs were always smaller than his upper body, but they looked way smaller than his upper body in this fight. It looked kind of crazy. Yeah, I do think he broke his jaw. Tim said that says Wilder might have his jaw broke too. I agree. Not only the blood coming from his mouth, but the whole left side of his jaw just looked crazy. Like the left side of his jaw and his left ear were just totally out of whack, messed up. Um, Big time. Definitely crazy. Sean said, send that over. Fury said he was going to fight on the inside. I didn't believe him. Well, he did. My thing was like watching that fight, I feel like Wilder just doesn't have. That's my problem with Wilder, and it kind of always has been, but he doesn't have a lot of actual technical skill when it comes to boxing. Like he's all power. He's got a decent jab, but he never throws like a normal straight right hand. It's always like he's leaping into every right hand, even when it's straight. Like if he makes it semi straight, it's leaping straight. Otherwise, it's like an over the top haymaker. His I I mean whatever. It obviously worked for him for a long time, but it's if he developed more combinations. He doesn't throw a lot of combinations either. It's always jabs and straight rights. Only time he really throws uppercuts is like in the clinch. Um, it's kind of like I don't know. The guy could be so much better with his size and stature. What else we got here? Oh, I missed that one. There we go. I'm gonna send that over. What's up, Lou? What's going on? This is another one that's very true. In that fight, Wilder was going straight back a lot, and also Wilder just why can't you keep your left hand up? He never does. But when especially when you're hurt, you gotta learn how to keep that hand up. Yo Yo says didn't get a notification. It's probably because I went live 3 times today. They're probably like, fuck this guy. We're not gonna we're not gonna keep sending out these notifications. And Tim, yeah, it's running in 1440p right now, but I actually have the camera set in 1080. So 1080p 60 frames per second on the camera. I feel like it's a little less colorful right now, like a little more muted in tone, but it still looks good. And the wrenches, yeah, I got to figure out with the new YouTube Studio how to even mess with that. I don't know what's going on with that. It's like I think only the original people I gave wrenches to have wrenches right now, and everybody else seems to have lost them. I don't even. I got to figure out where to go because they switched the YouTube Studio around so much. I don't know even know where to go to put them in. So I have to find that out. What else we got there? Oh, I see. This makes pages. All right, I'm figuring that part out. I tried to make the webcam a little better. I got it running as well, but I still think it kind of looks there. So like, check this out, right? That's better than it was, and it works, and it's not delayed. That's my old webcam. So I use this software to like color correct it, but I still think compared to um, the new camera, it looks pretty bad. Don't look as a backup. It's not horrible. It'll get the job done. But this webcam right here is actually I actually have it sent in as a 4K signal. That's 4K 30 frames per second signal. And it looks worse than this at 1080 60. Like the clarity is so much better. So I said, Fury's singing went on way too long. Fury's entrance was crazy. That was kind of bananas. I was like, what the hell is this? But the UFC card was kind of boring too. And the boxing fight was just one guy whooping one guy's butt. That was pretty much it. The Saturday night of fights did not turn out as I expected at all. I was hoping to see a little back and forth between Wilder and Fury, but Fury just didn't have anything. Yeah, I agree with that right there too. This one here, eardrum was definitely blown. The left one, at least, definitely blown. Mustafa, for sure. What's up, Russell? I don't know. There was only one heavyweight hitter tonight because Wilder didn't hit a damn thing except the canvas. That's about it. Secret Agent, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate it. And Aaron, you are absolutely right. Wasn't much back and forth at all. The only thing back and forth was Wilder and the canvas. That's it. It was that was not a competitive fight at all. That was just like straight up he just straight up got demolished. Do we really want to see this? AAAA? And who still wants to see Fury versus Joshua? I mean, I feel like Joshua just kind of fell off totally, and he doesn't have a chin. Fury has a better chin, but I mean, I guess I watch it, but I don't know. Nothing in the heavyweight division excites me that much. Um, oh, Lou, man, Lou said I had the sixth. Wilder in the sixth. Oh man, Sam, what's up, Sam? I'm good. How are you? Aaron Fraser said that I see it. Yeah, I saw the first fight. Um, first fight was, I think, more competitive for sure, but this was totally like from the moment that I honestly think he blew his eardrum from that first knockdown, and from that point forward, um, he just wasn't able to really recover because with your eardrum blown like that, your equilibrium's all thrown off, your balance is bad. When that body shot that he went down from the second time he was knocked down, and it was that round, I don't remember what round that was. It might have been five. It was either four or five when he went down technically from the body shot. When you looked at the replay, he didn't even whatchamacallit, he didn't even really, like, he shouldn't have went down from that. The headshot that came before it didn't really hit him, and the body shot wasn't that crazy that he should have went down. So, and Tim says, I would prefer MMA any day over regular boxing, more action. I agree with that these days. Not only action, because some boxing fights do have pretty good action, but it's just the I feel like I don't know what it is. I just feel like I don't see the same skill level in boxing today. Um, but I figured Wilder versus Fury would at least be pretty damn entertaining. And the only entertainment I saw was if you really like watching one guy get beat the hell up. All right, Lou, take care, Lou. Lou says good night. Have a good night, Lou. And yep, there you go. We were talking about this the other day. Aaron is saying, right? So I was just saying the other day that in boxing, those big gloves repeatedly hitting you like that, uh, so far from all of the medical testing, basically proven over time to be worse for you. But it can also certainly be worse for you in this case. I mean, think about it. If Wilder did indeed break his eardrum and he was fighting an MMA fight, he would have been out of there way sooner. He wouldn't have been able to take maybe one or two or three more shots like that, and he would have been done. But with those gloves and you got that padding and it dulls that shot, it but it makes it heavier at the same time. But you have that impact resistance from the glove because it's so much padding. You can just get walloped over and over and over again and still kind of stay up or get up. So I definitely think a lot of people think MMA is so violent and brutal and stuff like that. But and in a way it is, because you don't have the gloves. It seems that way. But overall, the health of those guys long term is going to be better in most cases. I mean, anything's possible for any person. There's always exceptions to the rule, but from uh, from a medical standpoint, they say it's generally better to just get kind of knocked out pretty quick and wake up than get repeatedly hit over and over and over and over again. It's the same thing with the NFL. Those guys bang helmets over and over and over again as concussion after concussion after concussion, and you know works out bad. Bro Science said Felder versus Hooker was good too. I agree with that. But who did you think won that fight? I mean, I personally thought it was really close, and I was okay with that fight going 3-2 either way. But a couple of the guys that I played DraftKings with were like, "Oh my god, that was 4-1 for Felder," and I was like, "Really? Like, I didn't see 4-1 Felder. I could have saw 3-2 Felder or 3-2 Hooker. I'd have been fine with either way." Yeah, Tim, this was gross. I don't know what he was thinking, but when they showed the replay, it looked like he missed, thankfully. But I was like, Wilder's moving. You may very well end up licking the blood off of him. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, see, look what Williams said right here. His wife is a nurse practitioner. She was praying for Wilder. That's not an easy injury to recover from. That bleeding can start going the other way if really bad. And it looked bad. The bleeding would not stop. Every time they, you know, patted it down, it would just come right back out. So I think that's definitely you know, I honestly thought his corner should have stopped it a long time ago. He didn't have anything at all in the tank. He looked off. His mouth was just open. His face didn't even look right. Like he really just looked out of it from the moment he was knocked down the first time and all that blood started coming out. He didn't look the same at all. Not that he looked great before that because they were just missing shots, but his level of clarity just looked off. You guys want to try a VMix call and see if somebody wants to jump in? I'm kind of curious. Anybody wants to try to chit chat live? How that works? I'm gonna add some inputs for that. Apparently, Sheen was not happy. Garbage fight. I mean, I wouldn't have said it was garbage. It was just totally one sided for sure. Um, but I guess it depends on the definition of fight. I didn't find it that entertaining. I don't really find many things entertaining for one guy to just get beat up the whole time. Um, McGregory versus Pacquiao from Russell. Anybody actually want to see McGregor fight Pacquiao? Does anybody want to see that? Let me see if I can make this work. I'm gonna try something here. Where did it go? That is weird. Hang on. Let me search this. I don't know why, but it's not showing me the vMix call at all right now. That is strange. Let's see. Um, what is this? Sean said, I would like to see another Mayweather and Pacquiao. They're both in their prime now. Oh my goodness. That would be god awful to watch. I mean, they're both, well, I don't know. I think depends on when Mayweather finally slows down. Tim says Pac-Man would probably kill McGregor again. I mean, I I didn't think McGregor did all that horrible, all things considered, against Mayweather. I think against Pacquiao he would do a little better. I don't know if he'd win, but he would probably do a little better. Although when Pacquiao throws those crazy fast punches, they're different kind of fighters. It'd be very interesting to see. I wouldn't mind watching the fight, honestly. You know, is it something I'm dying to see? No, but I could definitely watch it. Oh, it comes from here, right? Yeah, video call. Okay, hang on a second. I thought I was able to get it from the bottom, but I'm not. So let me do this, right? And if anybody wants to jump in here, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, you can go to this address right there. I gotta actually HTTP it. All right, Tim, take care. Tim says he's getting ready to call it a night. Trying to see if I can get somebody in here just to see how this would work. I want to do a input, something like this, and um, need a wide box. Yeah, something like that. Say okay. And then set up. No, not the background. Whoops. Box one. Bingo. And then yeah, that works. Okay. I need to try to let me close that. I don't need that. Let's do more. Anybody want to jump in real quick? I want to see if we can do something pretty cool with this setup. Where's let me try to get Cell in here. Who can we get up in here? Do that. Oh, I see. Somebody try this. I'm gonna put this in the chat. See if it just lets. Might be able to use that to jump in without even having to put a password. It says this or use the link below. I think the link will just let it work. If anybody wants to try to jump in, the link is right there. And then I'm gonna try to make a setup with that. Oh, why did it do that? That was stupid. Where did that go? It just changed the link actually. Never mind. Kill this link. I'm hosting that. It should be this then. That link should work. If that works, it should let somebody jump in from a browser window or something of that nature. What's up, Mark? How you doing? Mark says, yo, yo. Well, that's a good question. Let me pop that in there as soon as it pops up. There we go. So, question from Low Roller: did Fury expose Wilder since Wilder can't fight since he relies on one lucky punch? I wouldn't say Wilder can't fight. The guy could fight. Problem is, he fights a lot of people that don't have a lot of skills, and I don't think he has the greatest skills either. Honestly, uh, just when it comes to technical skills per se, but he's strong, powerful. Tonight, I felt like even before he was knocked down and before everything started, he was literally just throwing this crazy haymaker over and over and over again. Like, there's no point to that. You really should you know, do something that is more technical. Like, what's wrong with a straight right cross? You don't got to put all your power in the world behind every shot you throw. And doing that is never. It's eventually going to get you in trouble. You know, putting all your power behind every right hand you throw. Even the ones he threw that were more straight and weren't haymakers, he left his feet to use those. Like he drives so hard behind every right, and it's like you can't expect to land all those shots. And I understand that it worked for you against a lot of opponents in the past, but um, you know, it just I don't know, it wasn't a good look. I was and that always made me unimpressed by Wilder, honestly. And just the fact that he does that in every fight. So I think that I suppose you could say Fury somewhat exposed that to an extent for sure, but I just wouldn't say Wilder can't fight. He can, but it wasn't exactly a great fight today. That's for sure. He got destroyed today. This is what happened to him today. Fury crushed. He got Fury crushed. Um, yeah, I definitely agree with this, Mark. Fury was coming forward, you know, and bringing the fight to him, which is definitely what created that whole thing. You know, it changed the dynamic of the fight. That, and then I think once his eardrum almost certainly is busted, so I'm hoping that you know he's all right. At the end of the day, that could be something that takes a really long time to come back from. Uh, Low Roller says Wilder needs to hire a new trainer. Didn't he have somebody new in his corner with him tonight? Oof. I can't say I agree with this one, man. Fury's jab is one of the best I've seen for heavyweights. It's not bad, but one of the best, I'd say, nah. Recently, sure, but I mean, probably the best jab I've seen in a heavyweight period is Lennox Lewis's jab. Lennox Lewis's jab was insanely good. He made fights so boring with it, but man, that was a good jab. Um, Definitely had a good jab. Holyfield had a good jab back in the day. Muhammad Ali had amazing jab. You could throw that thing like 5 times, and you know. But for today's heavyweights, I'd say yeah. You know, Fury's jab is definitely uh pretty decent for sure. You know, but man, I think the Lennox Lewis's jab was so good that it annoyed me because every fight he would fight, he would just make it so boring with jab, 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 jab. But he was so much bigger and longer, and he knew how to put that jab in there in the right spot that people just couldn't get inside really, and it drove people crazy. But what happens? Let me see if I can Yeah, bro science. That's absolutely right. Larry Holmes' jab was crazy too. That dude had a crazy jab. And Mark, this is very true. Once he busted the eardrum, balance was gone, fight was over. I agree with that. He looked all wrong in his face. His legs weren't sturdy. He just looked kind of messed up after that happened. And yes, 100% Larry Holmes' jab was crazy good. And that away. Get Busy Living says he's proud of Tyson Fury. What a performance. A true man of God. Congratulations, Tyson. You truly are the best heavyweight champion of this generation. I guess he kind of is. You could sort of say that to an extent, and he definitely was a great performance. He thoroughly dominated tonight, that's for sure. So that is true. Aaron, have a good night. Yo, Aaron, where you at? Don't leave yet. Or somebody, anybody. I want somebody to try to jump on this link and see if it works. I'd agree with this too, right here. But they've been trying to fight forever. Even says Wilder should fight Joshua, and if he wins, set up a rematch with Fury. I do think the winner of that fight should fight Fury. Um, Wilder kind of already has, I guess, a he kind of has a claim to stake since it's 1-1. So you almost want to see a third fight. But I don't know. I feel like like those two should fight, but I don't think Joshua and Wilder will ever fight because they try to make it happen so many times that and it just never happens. That's it. Do I think Andy Ruiz will get a rematch with Joshua? Um, I think they should rematch. That's another fight that should rematch. Oh, that would be crazy. There's two guys, right? So there you go. Francis Ngannou was talking about boxing at some point. I would love to see Francis Ngannou box. That would be crazy. Um, Anthony Rumble Johnson. I would love to see box too. That would be another guy. That would be pretty damn sweet. Pretty awesome. What happens if I hit settings on this? All right, nothing. So that's do that. Mark's cracking me up. Oh man, this tab is taking a little while to pop in tonight, but there we go. We're gonna send that over. Mark says Ngannou needs to. He's in slow motion anyway. He looked pretty good the last fight, but I think Ngannou has he's training well. He's doing pretty good. But man, those punches are so hard. Who wouldn't want to see like Ngannou versus Wilder, like as a fight? That would be crazy. Um, that'd just be like a bunch of haymakers. Like I'd watch it just because it would be crazy. Some of that nature would be pretty cool. Mm, damn it. Oh, nice. Get busy, said. Sorry, my comments all over the place. That's all right. That happens to the best of us. And Mark says he's going to Columbus, Ohio to see him UFC live end of March. That is nice. Um, that's in who's in Ngannou fighting, Mark? I haven't really looked at the schedule. Damn, I really want to try something out here, but nobody's on with a camera. I need somebody to jump in my call. You don't really have to use the camera, but it would be good just to see it. See if I can get like. Mm, oh, that's crazy. Dude got attacked because he was happy for. You got attacked because you were happy for Wilder for sending him congratulations. I mean, for Fury. That's that is odd. Oh, Rosenstruik. Okay. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Oh man, this is funny. This is how crazy you think MGM is right now with all the Irish Gypsy partying. I think not as crazy as it is when Connor wins, but there's a lot of happiness going on for sure. You know what? Maybe I can try it. Let me try this. Hang on a second. I wonder if it'll let me jump in as myself on a second one. I'm gonna try this since nobody else is online. Let me see if this will work from a phone. I really don't know if it will, but I'm gonna try it. Mm. EI, I think that is right. It does work. Allow. And ooh, that sounds bad, but it's in there. So now, hold on. Watch this. Not gonna be exactly what I want to do, but it'll get you an idea. That is correct. You're gonna hear me twice though, I think. You guys hear echo now? Check this out. That's why I was
That's why I
trying
was
to get
trying to get
somebody else
somebody
in
else in
so that
so that
I could
I
do
could
this
do
with someone
someone
else.
else.
Kind of
Kind of
cool.
cool.
I like
I
it.
like it.
Oh, I
Oh,
see.
I
It's
see.
it's
Nice.
not sending the
Sending
audio. I think
I
now
think
it's
now
probably
it's probably
sending it,
sending
right?
it,
Or you don't
or
hear
you don't hear.
twice. Because I'm
Because I'm
talking to
talking
myself.
about myself.
I was trying
I
to
was
turn
trying
the
to turn the
camera this
camera
way, but
this
it's
way,
not
but it's
letting
not
me.
letting me.
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
there we go.
It did let
It
me.
did let me.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Now there's
Now
an
there's
echo.
an
Okay. Now it should be gone. That's pretty cool though. I like it. Echo went away, right? Oh, sweet. Never a good day until it's time to be able to block someone. Bam. Adios. No more echo, yeah. That's definitely kind of cool. I look forward to trying to oh look, the setting is not right on this one though. That's weird. I wonder if I can move that. I think I should be able to. Um yeah, there we go. That's not zooming, it's panning. Yeah. It wasn't quite centered in the box. Now it is. You can still hear the echo get busy? Oh, maybe it's coming from my actual speaker here. Let me turn the speaker off. Like all the way off. Because it should only have that one input going into master. And now the audio should definitely be off for the call one. All right, so that's working. Potelu. What's up, Potelu? Yo, Potelu, click this link, bro, and join into the call so I can hang myself up and you could come in. I want to see how it works with somebody else in. I'm gonna hang myself up out of this call. All right, I cut that out. So I'm gonna go back to this stream. Oh man. I'm gonna blast that right now, Waterloo, so that everybody can see it. There you go. Waterloo says he's in the bathroom taking a crap, so he can't join the call. You know, I kind of noticed this too right here. Get Busy says Fury seemed more popular with the Americans than Wilder was. I don't know if he was more popular, but they definitely like him. Waterloo, I was trying to get GI to come in here and try it, but right now it seems like I can't get anybody in here to try it. All the usual suspects are gone. I never heard of that channel. Get Busy. So I'll definitely stay away from it. I only watch a couple of combat sports channels, but that one I never heard of. Potelu, you ever heard of that? CSH Combat Sports? Try one more person. Boom, 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 boom. And then I want to try, hang on. I can change that, right? Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I could change that to something like this. Change it to that. Oh, you did jump in. Hang on, Potelou. I see you in there. Give me 1 second. I'm going to switch this over. Hang on, he's in the background. I'm going to set this up. Okay, that is working now. Hang on. I'm going to send your audio in. And I think this is going to work. Boom. Potelou.
Yo, yo.
Oh, all right. You guys can hear him, right? Let me do this right here. What's up, Serena? Serena, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Potelou, what'd you think of the fight, bro?
It's crazy, man. Can you hear me?
I hear you. I think everybody can hear you. I can. You guys can hear him, right?
Yeah, I should. That fight was crazy. And I saw from right from the beginning too, when he started doing that clinching stuff and just freaking clinching and grabbing him, pushing him down and stuff like. Oh, I can move my camera around. Okay. Um, I was like, this is not looking good for Wilder, man. He was looking a little weird, and then the more he kept like putting his arm over his head, his neck, and kind of pulling him down, making him carry a little bit of his weight and stuff like that. I was like, he's looking a little weird. Even after the first round of him doing that, I was like, looks a little like it looks like it's draining him in some weird way and shit. You see his freaking footwork a little off and stuff like that. He looks stumbly and stuff. By the second, third round, he was really looking weird, man. I was like, what the hell's going on? Is this the 20 pounds of muscle that he put on, or what the hell is going on here? He's just looking weird.
Yeah, I think
He
it was
peaked him up.
when his eardrum got popped. I think it got popped and it just messed him up from then on. So he got that
But
pop pretty
did it
early.
did it really did they
They didn't say it was, but I think it has to be, man, because that amount of blood was crazy. You just keep going and going and going.
because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, did they rupture his freaking eardrum or what the hell just happened here? I know if they ruptured his eardrum, if he's having some issue with that, it's gonna throw off his freaking equilibrium and shit like that. But that was crazy. He pieced them up, man. Wilder did nothing almost. The last two rounds, how many punches did he even throw?
Bro, I don't even. What?
I don't think he, I don't think he threw a punch. No, he did throw. I think he threw like two punches that last round that I
In
can even recall.
oh, did that actually move it? No, I didn't. In in the fifth round, he landed no punches throughout the whole round until the very end, the last 10 seconds. He got like three little shots in when they were in the clinch. The whole fifth round, no punches.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. But I didn't, I wasn't, I really wasn't expecting him to get just outclassed like that, man. He really had nothing for him at all, and that's when you really start seeing the fundamentals come in. You see all that feinting and faking and stuff that Tyson keeps doing, and just pop pop, and keeps moving, keeps moving, keeps moving, like faking him. You know what the hell to do, man.
And I was definitely surprised that there was no back and forth at all, and it was just a straight whooping.
For real, man. It was a little anticlimactic, right?
Yeah, I was expecting to see like maybe both of them go down, or some back and forth, but
Something was off of Wilder though. Besides all of that, something was off for him. He even said he has some issues or something like that. His legs weren't there even before the fight. Something happened there, man. Because something was not right with him, man. But you know what's crazy is that Fury, he'll destroy Anthony Joshua. In my opinion,
yeah, I think so
he'll
too.
destroy him. But Wilder, to me, would flatline Anthony Joshua also.
Yeah, well,
I
Anthony
don't think
Joshua's
Joshua
chin is
can
just
mess with him.
not good.
Yeah, I don't know, man. How would you see Joshua beating Tyson Fury, and how would you see Joshua beating Wilder?
I mean, the only way I could really see that is just he lands the punch. You know what I mean? Like he's got power, so if he lands something real clean, he could. But he's gonna have to. His chin has to hold up until he can land something, and that's the problem.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. Like to beat Wilder, you're gonna have to be an exceptional boxer, which Tyson Fury is. Um, which King Kong, what the hell is his full name? Ortiz, the dude he just fought,
Yeah,
Luis Ortiz. I think it is Luis Ortiz. Whatever, but he's a great Cuban boxer, insane amateur background and all that. You have to be that good to get Wilder in trouble. And I don't see Anthony Joshua being able to do that. I don't see him having that kind of skill.
yeah, I
So
kind of
I
agree with
just
that.
see him getting
He-
blasted and flat.
His style too is very laid back. He's not really coming forward like that, and I think that would be a big problem against these guys.
Yeah. But if he were to beat Wilder, how would you see it happening? Because
Joshua?
I believe this is the next fight coming up.
Oh man,
Like
for
like freaking Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. But how would you see Anthony Joshua beating Wilder and beating Fury? In what way can he pull that out?
I I don't know. It's tough for me to really picture that. I just
Yeah.
can't see it because I mean we know Wilder can at least take a punch, and we know Fury can take a punch. We know Joshua can't really take much when it comes to punches. So it, the only way he could do it is like if he just caught him in the first round or something. Like I can't see him outboxing either of those guys. And I'm not. Everybody knows I'm not a big fan of Wilder as far as technical boxing. I don't feel like he's got great technique. He's just strong, fast, got decent timing. Um, and that right hand is just crazy. But I was saying that earlier too. Is like the guy cannot throw a normal right hand though. Every right hand he throws is like just trying to kill somebody. Where every like he's so strong that if he just threw a normal right cross a few times, he could still knock you out. Like he's got to learn to just sit down on that right cross and throw it normally. Because I could see the haymaker coming from a mile away watching it. It's like as he's throwing the jab, he's already loading the right hand before the jab even gets there. It's like the jab is not a real jab. is just trying to, you know what I mean? Like he never really commits to the jab. He just kind of like paws it out there, and the right hand is already coming behind it, and it's always so wide and over the top. He never won twos like a real 1-2.
Yeah, it's true. You're right. Because I can see him with a standard 1-2.
Like
I can see him stagger you.
yeah, over and over again, just standard 1-2, standard 1-2.
You're right. Even if he would like legit use his jabs, 1-2, like even pop one or two jabs out, pop, 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 and then throw that right. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't. It's always jab, full blown straight.
Yep, that's it.
Jab, full blown straight, or just one jab, and then trying to set up another jab, full blown straight.
Pretty much, bro. All right, so we got a question. Get Busy Living says, who's your guy's favorite all-time heavyweight?
Mike Tyson.
I kind of, have. I don't know. Mike Tyson's definitely up there. I would say in my generation that
Mike Tyson.
I've seen in my generation, Mike Tyson. But I watched almost all of Ali's fights, and I could make an argument to say Ali is still my favorite. Just watching those fights, like I just wish I could have seen him, fighting live in his prime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in my prime, Mike Tyson, and then probably behind Mike Tyson, you got like Holyfield, Bo. Those would probably be my top three, like in that I've grew up watching.
Yeah, but just Mike
George
Tyson.
Foreman too, when he was a beast. Like watching the old fights of Foreman. Oh man, that dude was a monster.
That dude used to fucking walk around with cows on his back, bro. Have you seen those pictures?
Yeah,
That dude
Foreman's
was
crazy.
no joke. There's a picture of him. I think he was the hardest puncher ever, bro. George Foreman.
Oh yeah, in
There's
his
a
prime,
picture of him
dude. Oh,
punching. Yo, there's damn. Was it? There was pictures of him punch or a video of him punching like I don't remember. It was like a 200-300 pound freaking punching bag, and he would leave craters in the damn thing, bro.
yeah.
That dude was insane.
Yo, when
George
I was a
Foreman was
kid,
insane.
I met him, and he put his like fist up like this, and
Loaf of
I put
bread.
my fist next to his fist. Granted, I was a kid, but his fist was like 5 of my fists. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, like that's the biggest fist I ever seen in my life.
And you know what's crazy? He was a scary ass heavyweight before our time. Like we've seen the,
Yeah,
the film and all the films and stuff like that, but we mostly remember him bald headed,
bald
chubby,
headed and
came
older
back.
already, and he's
Yeah,
still.
him in his prime with the afro and
Bro,
stuff.
you remember the fight when he won the belt against Michael Moore?
Oh
Michael
yeah,
Moore was like beating him the whole fight because he was so slow and old. And then he just
yeah.
decided to stand there, and it was just one punch, bro. That was it. Done. Out like
He
a light. Even
that
Foreman
was
was
all
like
he needed
45
too.
years old, and
Yeah,
he knocked him
yeah.
out with
It
one
was.
punch, even at 45.
That was all he needed though. That was all George Foreman needed was that 1-2. And once that two came in, boom, lights out, bro. Essentially, kind of like what Wilder used to do. The only thing is that Foreman was actually way more skilled.
Yeah.
He would set up his shots and stuff. He was setting up that shot the whole damn boxing match because he knew he was too slow, and he was just waiting and waiting and waiting until the perfect time, and then boom.
It was like it was late too. I think it was like the 10th round or
Yeah,
something already
yeah,
when that happened.
yeah, bro.
And he
But
did nothing
still,
the whole fight. He was just getting hit and doing nothing and doing nothing, and then just bam, it was over.
then bam, lays him out. But even like that, still, man, my favorite heavyweight, Tyson, and I don't think anybody could have fucked with Tyson in his prime. Nobody. Like if Cus D'Amato would have lived a couple of more years, I think it would have been a completely different story, bro. Like once he was gone, that's it. Everything he stayed on track for like I think another year or so, and then everything just started fucking dismantling, bro.
Yeah, man. I think I would have loved to see Ali and Tyson fight in their primes, though. I mean, because you got to
Bro,
remember, Ali took Foreman's punches for 10 rounds when Foreman was still the man way back in the day, and Roper doped him and KO'd him. You know what I mean? And Foreman
yeah, but still,
was walloping him for 10 rounds.
I don't think Foreman compares to Tyson, bro. Because even Ali said it, bro. This is coming out of Ali's mouth. He was like, I'd be scared of this man. He was, because look at what even Foreman when he was young, he didn't have speed.
Yeah,
He
no, he
was
was
still
never fast.
slow. Yeah, the shit with Tyson is that he had damn near the same kind of freaking power with both hands,
Yeah,
and
and he
then
was
he was
quick.
insanely fast. So he'd catch you with one, and you're essentially knocked out with that first hit, and then he'd catch you like two, three, four more so fast. Like, yo, do you remember Frazier's son? I think it's Marvin Frazier.
Yeah, Marvis Frazier.
He knocked him out with one punch, and I think there were like two or three more punches that literally he was dropping, and the punches to keep him up
Yeah,
because he was throwing combos so fast. Like, I don't know how anyone would have been able to deal with Tyson in his prime. I'm talking about Cus D'Amato still around and stuff like that before they took advantage of the dude and everything just hit the fan. And you know that Cus D'Amato used to hypnotize him, right?
no, I didn't know that.
I'm dead ass. They were just talking about that on the Joe Rogan podcast on the Fight Companion. They were talking about the same thing, and Tyson actually came out and he said it also recently, or maybe not recently, but on one of his podcasts that Cuss used to pretty much kind of like hypnotize him in the back there before he would even come out. He kind of like just put in his brain that he was a machine that nothing could hurt him, this and that, and even at home, even training out there in the Catskills and stuff like that. I didn't even know that. I had
I
no
didn't
idea
know
that
that
he
either.
was.
I mean, I knew he used to, keep him grounded for sure, and all the
Yeah, but it
training
was
up in
literally
Tyson
doing like
was
hypnotizing
when
stuff.
a mentally focused Tyson in his prime was just
Insane.
insane, man.
Go back and watch videos of him, his movement, his bobbing and weaving. I have never seen anyone move like that ever. I just he was insane, man. I would like that kind of Tyson. He would have destroyed Holyfield. When Lennox Lewis fought him, forget about it. This
Yeah,
was
it was already
an
done.
older Tyson on Xanax and Prozac and all that stuff. Like it wasn't the same thing.
Get Busy Living said he wishes Customato was his father because of all the wisdom that man had. It was unreal.
It's true, man.
True, Customato is definitely one of the greatest trainers ever, man. Like just to be able, I mean, when you see the difference of Tyson with and without him, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Like the difference in just from that alone is insane.
And he trained a couple of other champion heavyweights. Who's the damn? He's a big time name. I forgot. Was it Patterson?
I don't know. That was
There's a
so long
couple.
ago.
What happened?
That was so long ago that
Yeah,
I
but
can't
it's
remember.
like a name. It's like a classic name. But like as soon as you hear it, you're like, oh yeah, yeah. God damn it.
Let's see.
That
I'll
is
look it up. Yeah, it was Patterson. You're right. Floyd Patterson.
Floyd Patterson, right? I was gonna
Yep.
say Floyd Patterson too, but I'm like, am I mixed? I watch too much combat sports, bro. I think,
Yeah, I forgot. It's been so long since I even thought about Customato.
yeah, bro. It's crazy that ever since I've been watching MMA and then kickboxing, all that, all the damn names just get mixed up now, bro. I consume too much freaking combat sports, man.
He also trained Jose Torres.
Yeah, he had a couple legit dudes, man. Yo, you didn't have. Let's talk about MMA now. You didn't have freaking. I had Felder
No,
winning four to
no,
five,
man, no.
legit, and he
There's
kept
no
hurting
way.
him. I couldn't believe he lost.
Listen, that fight was decided like 5 rounds. The difference in punches was 9 punches over 5 rounds landed. And the rounds were pretty close overall, most of the rounds. So when you look at that, nobody got knocked down. There was only one takedown in the whole fight. It's a close fight. I don't know how you get 4-1. Like to
Because he
me,
was hurting him. He was marching him down, hurting him, octagon control. To me, it was like a
yeah,
no-brainer.
but who had the face control?
Yeah,
It looked
well, that
like
happens to Felder,
Felder was the
but
one that was getting like beat up. Like when you just look at their faces, if he landed 9 less shots than Felder, and Felder's face looked 9 times as bad as his.
yeah,
So
because he caught him
who
with an
was
early shot that kind of had him swollen. But Felder caught him freaking, was it third round or something? Had his freaking jaw freaking swollen also. But I mean that was not
that's another
telling
thing.
in
I
regards
think
like
Wilder
what
broke
he
his
got.
jaw too, man. Not only from the blood coming out, but that whole left side of his cheek was swelling up like crazy. He might have popped his eardrum and broke his jaw on the left side. Because by the end of
Man,
the fight, his left cheek right here was so swollen. I'm like, you to get like that, you probably broke something, man. Like you don't just get like that from getting hit with gloves.
who you talking about? You talking about Felder?
No, I'm talking about Wilder.
Hooker. Oh, Wilder. Oh, okay. Oh yeah,
You,
Wilder look something look off for him and stuff. You think you really think they ruptured his eardrum?
this is a good question. This is kind of funny question. Um, I got my answer, but yeah, busy living says in a street fight, who wins, Fedor or Mike Tyson?
Damn, I don't know, man.
That's a crazy fight.
A street fight, and we're talking right now. This is hypothetical stuff, so we're talking right now. Prime Fedor
Yep,
Emelianenko versus Prime Mike Tyson.
in a street fight.
Damn, in a street fight. Damn, and I love Mike Tyson, so I hate to go the other way, but I have to go the other way.
I,
Fedor will probably take it.
I think so too, only because it's a street fight.
Yeah,
Like because I mean, but if Tyson hits him first and he hits him clean, it's over. But
it's a wrap. But remember, Fedor he cracks hard as heck,
yeah,
and he's a complete fighter.
and if he grabs Tyson, forget it. Like
It's a
that's.
wrap.
I think a lot of people don't realize that. There's a lot of discussion back and forth from boxing and MMA, and like you take into account a street fight. i- Even if a guy is an exceptional boxer, and you fight an MMA guy like Khabib, let's say, let's take a boxer around Khabib's size who's great. I don't know. Khabib's what 150. You can even say Mayweather. All right, they're not that far off in size. Mayweather versus Khabib in the street, who wins?
Oh my god, it'd
It-
be a mollywhopping.
yeah, Mayweather would get destroyed in the street. Absolutely destroyed. It's two
And,
totally different things. When you convert that to street fighting, MMA has a huge advantage.
well, you're talking about a complete fighter versus a one-dimensional fighter.
Yeah,
It's not. But the thing is, you can't really have. We can have this conversation because we consume combat sports. There's folks that are just boxing heads. And when me myself, when I was a boxing head, because remember that's all we used to consume before.
yeah,
I had this delusional thing in my brain that to me boxers were like these magical creatures that all they had to do this once this will touch you, oh that's it, you're gone.
yeah.
Like that's what I thought until I actually started learning combat, like started watching. And I'm talking about this is a Tito time, Tito and Chuck
Yeah,
Liddell.
yeah. And Chuck Liddell.
That's when I really started getting in. Like I used to watch the older back in the '90s. I used to rent the VHSs and stuff, but I wasn't really into it. To me, still, hey, a boxer would just clean the freaking floor with these guys. That was my thing. But when I started really learning the sport, and when it really started turning into MMA in the early 2000s, I'm watching Tito Ortiz in his freaking prime, and then Chuck Liddell, and I really started learning like combat sport. I'm like, holy shit, these guys are legit. Like this is the real deal. This is not what I was thinking before. And look at now, look at MMA now, bro. How it's
Yeah.
evolved. It, man, you have to. So this conversation we're having right now, if you're not a real combat sports head, you're not gonna agree. You can't even really can't bring anything to the discussion if you just primarily watch boxing and you a boxer will go get in there. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying, right?
Oh yeah, I got you. Like
You have to like really know combat
if
sports, but
see like Get Busy said he used to box when he was a teenager, and he said five years and it probably saved his life in a lot of street fights. It's not an underrated combat sport. If you can box and you're just fighting some guy that has no training, you have an advantage. But as a
yeah,
boxer going against an MMA fighter in the street, the MMA fighter has the advantage.
yeah, bro.
As long as you're both equally, of equal size, power, skill, in your respective sport,
it won't
then
even matter in regards to size, bro,
well, to a certain
because
extent, you know what I mean.
yeah,
Like
to a certain
if you're a 130-pound MMA fighter and you fighting a 200-pound boxer, that's probably going to matter. But
it may be, but
that's a
yo,
big difference, bro. It's almost half the weight.
there is it is, but I legit can see like
Well, I
Mighty
mean,
Mouse,
you
that
talk about
little
Mighty Mouse.
midget.
That's an exception. Mighty Mouse will probably do it, but could you
Like I
see
can see
like
him doing some shit to Wilder in a street fight. Mighty Mouse in a
uh,
street fight.
as long as he
It
don't
would
get
not
hit?
surprise me at all. At all.
The problem though is even with that, like Mighty Mouse is a great MMA fighter. But imagine if Wilder grabbed him and just hugged him in. He's not getting out. He could literally the strength. He could hold him in with one arm and just punch him over and over in the head.
I
He
don't
would,
think
as long
so.
as he hugged him in like that, how you getting out?
I
His
don't
arm
think so.
is so big
Too
that he
much
can wrap
technique.
it all the way around him and squeeze the life out of him with one arm. That's their size difference, bro.
I think too much technique and he's strong as heck too, Mighty Mouse. I'm telling you. And one little crack from a leg kick, a low leg kick, shin to shin. Have you seen Tyson
I agree with that
Wilder's
because I
freaking
saw
legs?
Wilder's legs tonight. Wilder skipped leg day every workout.
Oh my god. And Tyson Fury too. You saw Tyson Fury?
Yeah,
Oh my
but Fury's calves were like twice the size of Wilder's, and and they were still small.
yeah. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I don't have like now that I really follow I've been following combat sports now and I'm not just boxing. I'm talking about MMA, Muay Thai, glory kickboxing, all that damn stuff. It's my view on things is completely different now. Now that I understand a lot of stuff. Before I would have been like, "Hey, a boxer is gonna destroy anyone," blah blah blah. Not anymore, man. But it's pretty much just like you said. Um, if you know boxing and you're fighting some dude in the street, random dude that has no training, you have the advantage. But what if you train, you do some boxing, and you fight a dude that trains and does some MMA in a street fight? You're probably gonna get fucked up. You feel me?
Yeah, no, I feel you on that for sure. I don't know. I mean, there's I think there's a as long as you're not ridiculously undersized, I would almost say the MMA fighter has the advantage pretty much every time. Although there's a couple of MMA fighters that are not the most successful ones, but kind of like one dimensional to an extent where they just love to strike and pretty much only strike. And I'd say a boxer has a better chance against guys like that don't really use grappling, don't use Muay Thai, that just go out there and bang, you know? But there's not very many of those guys in MMA. The ones that are there are just like exceptionally good at it and still have great takedown defense. But if you only have takedown defense, but you don't really have offense as a grappler or much of a ground game, you let a really good boxer have more of a chance in a street fight. You know what I'm saying? Because the boxer's not gonna try to take you down anyway.
Yeah.
But anybody that's a great
Essentially,
grappler, great wrestler, a Muay Thai specialist, anybody that can do all those things, I see the boxer having a big problem.
yeah, essentially like any MMA fighter that even though they have the skills, they tend to not use all the skills.
Yeah.
Yes, I can see that happening. What you're talking about, yes.
But I mean, somebody, a lot of people, I notice a lot of boxing fans that aren't really big into MMA. When they see somebody like Khabib fight, they think it's boring. They think it's like, oh, he's just, like almost like he's not fighting. And I'm like, no, he's fighting. Like he will whoop anybody's ass doing what he's doing.
Mollywopping motherfuckers.
Like it can be boring. I agree with that. Sometimes it is boring until the end when he finally mollywops you. But he's systematically breaking you down, tiring you out until he usually grounds and pounds you to the end. But
But it's not as it's not once you learn MMA, it's not boring like that though.
no, there's
Most of
times
the
where
time when
like,
it's boxing heads is because they legit don't understand what's going on. Wrist control, half mount, full mount. Oh, he's setting up another a single leg, a double leg. Like they legit, they're boxing heads. They're like, what is this? This is. But once you learn it, because and I'm saying this because I was that.
yeah,
But once I learned it, it's exciting to me.
yeah, I agree. I mean, there's been a couple of great fights on the like. One of the best fights I ever honestly watched was remember Mighty Mouse fighting that one dude. He's still fighting the guy with the droopy eyes. He was on he was on the show like to get in. Can't remember his name now. Tim something.
Oh,
He was a crazy grappler too.
Chris Elliott, Tim
Is
Elliott,
that who it was? Chris Elliott?
Tim Elliott.
Tim Elliott. Yeah, I knew it was Tim something. Mighty
Yeah, that
Mouse
he
against
did.
Tim Elliott was like there was no strikes. These guys were just but that fight was so good. Like
Yeah,
watching that fight. If you guys have never watched that fight that are watching this and like try to look up Tim Elliott versus Demetrius Johnson and watch that fight. Like there's not a lot of striking, but that was one of the most entertaining just back and forth. I'm better at grappling than you are fights that I've ever seen. That was super entertaining.
back and forth, bro. Just scrambling back at it. Boom, back and forth. Boom, submission attempt. Boom, blocked. Another submission attempt. Boom, slam you, take you down. Back and forth, scrambling, back on your feet. They would throw some. They would throw some strikes there too, but
A
it
little
was
bit.
primarily strikes to set up some another takedown. That thing was back, just back to back to back. That was an exciting fight.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one.
That
That
was the
was
best I've
definitely
ever
fun.
seen Tim Elliott. Actually,
Tim Elliott looked bad his last fight. I forgot who he fought. He lost, but he looked bad.
yeah, that was the best I've ever seen him look
Yeah,
when he
he looked
came back
great
to
in
the
that fight.
UFC.
And Demetrius Johnson gave him crazy props at the end of that fight too.
Yeah, that was at the highest level we've ever seen him. Because he was they kicked him out of the UFC. Like what I'm saying, and then he did good, and they brought him back.
Yeah.
And he wasn't on a win streak. That was the best I've ever seen him during that little time period there. And
Yep.
then he fought Mighty Mouse and
I
did
still can't
great.
believe the UFC gave away Demetrius Johnson for Ben Askren.
That was crazy,
That was
right?
the worst trade I ever seen in my life.
And you know what's crazier? He's huge out there in Asia.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure he is.
He's huge. Like you see that stuff we have here in America, where and the UK, where small guys don't really sell like that.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
it's essentially the higher weight guys and stuff like that. That's what really sells out here. Out here, that's not the case out there. So he's huge. He's like a big freaking box office fucking draw out there. I just don't think they have any. I don't think they have pay per view out there, stuff like that.
yeah, I don't think they do. I don't think there is any pay-per-view out there.
Yeah, but they average like they supposedly average more views than the UFC. That one what is it? One championship or something like that.
Yeah, one championship.
Like they supposedly legit have higher like ratings, higher viewership and stuff like that.
I wouldn't doubt
That
it, but
Asian market is insane.
you also got to take into account the platform though, because like even to watch UFC now, you got to get ESPN Plus. So I think you eliminate some people with that, and then the big fights are on pay per view. So whereas in Japan, everything's free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that
like
that
we could watch everything. Like one championship, I have the app. I just never watch it.
yeah, I gotta watch it
I
because
get the
I do miss
notifications
watching
and I
DJ
never
fight.
watch it. I haven't even watched his stuff. I watched like the the highlights.
Well, that's an interesting question. Let me put this in here. So Get Busy asks, you guys think any heavyweight champion in the history of the UFC could beat a heavyweight boxing champion? But what are we talking about? Oh, he said in boxing rules. Like
In
if they were
boxing
actually
rules.
boxing. So you have to
Hold on. I'm
is
reading.
there a UFC heavyweight champion that could beat a boxing heavyweight champion
Hold on, but you
in
hold on.
boxing?
The question doesn't say boxing.
No, but he put that after. Like the
Okay,
next
but
comment
let me
said,
see. So you guys think any heavyweight champion in the history of the UFC could beat a heavyweight boxing champion? Sorry if this was, um,
and then he
but
said,
then
but
he
then he
meant
put
in
this
boxing.
with boxing
Boxing
rules.
rules. Okay.
I think you know what? Anthony Joshua was a boxing champion, right? Heavyweight boxing champion, right? He
Mhm.
had a belt. I think
He
Stipe could
he
knock
does
him
have.
out.
He got it back.
Yeah, I think Stipe could knock him out in a boxing match.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, it wouldn't surprise me because Stipe was a Golden Glove boxing champ.
Yeah, and he's a pretty damn good striker. But I think that you gotta in boxing rules, you'd have to really search hard, like to think of it because it's two very different sports. I mean, even what's his face? Who else?
I'm trying to think
Like,
right now, like heavyweight UFC champs.
but I don't think any heavyweight UFC champion at all could beat any great boxing heavyweight champion. Like I can't see any guy that was a UFC heavyweight
No,
champion beating Mike Tyson in a boxing match in his prime or Ali in his
no,
prime or
no.
like it would be more guys that are
There's certain ones
yeah like
like
certain
Ruiz. Remember the Puerto Rican dude, Ruiz or something like that?
oh yeah that was the guy that beat James Toney when James Toney was all old and done to get
And
the belt.
Holyfield.
And I
He
think it
beat
was Andy
Holyfield.
Ruiz, right? Back in the
No,
day.
Andrew Ruiz is the one that just beat Anthony Joshua, and then Anthony Joshua
Oh,
beat
that's
him in the
Andy.
rematch.
It was a different Ruiz.
The
John
one we're
Ruiz.
talking about is the
John.
Puerto Rican dude.
Yeah, John Ruiz. Back in
John
the day.
Ruiz, yeah. I think he beat Holyfield twice, I think. An older Holyfield. Like, yeah, it would be certain. Like those top guys though, like Tyson and Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe, Ali, all these great ones. I can't name one.
Yeah. Get Busy says like Cain Velasquez recorded a higher punch power score than Mike Tyson. That's true, but he don't got the skill of boxing of Mike Tyson. Like, and Cain ain't a bad striker, but he's not a boxer like that. I just
And I'm
I
not. I
can't.
don't. I don't think he punches. Nah, that that was probably Tyson. Not even really trying to. Nah, I am not buying that. And I know what he's talking about because I've seen it, like the punching that little machine stuff.
Yeah, the machine
But
thing.
that's not really
Who
reading.
who
You'd have
was
to
it?
do like the
Ngannou that
stuff that
like
the
broke
UFC
that
did.
supposedly broke that record? Remember when they were doing that? Was it Ngannou that broke the record? Or
No.
Rumble
We're
Johnson?
talking about something different. What he's talking about is that you see that punch machine that you see everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what he's talking about. What you're talking about is legit actual
It was on like
measurement of your punch power.
the science thing.
Yeah, you're talking about something. What Ngannou hit is like that's an actual reading.
Yeah.
He broke all records. Like hardest hitting motherfucker that's this punch this machine. Um, But what the other guy's talking about, I've seen it. I think Cain Velasquez did it on ESPN, I think, and he rated higher than I think Holyfield and Tyson and yeah. I remember seeing it. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, these machines ain't fucking accurate. I am not buying that shit at all. That Cain Velasquez does not punch harder than Tyson or Holyfield or none of these dudes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I know
It's
what he's talking about. Though.
I think it would be very difficult. There's like very few guys I could pick out that could answer that I could say MMA heavyweight champs that could beat like legit boxing champs. I can't think of anybody honestly.
Let's look at it the other way around because
I
in boxers of the greats, in regards to greats, the only two I've ever looked at, and I'm talking about great heavyweight boxers, that I'm like, yo, could they be great MMA fighters, legendary MMA fighters, if they would have transitioned over, it would have been around the same time and all that stuff. There's only two ever that I can see that have the athleticism to have been able to add Muay Thai, kickboxing, wrestling, all that grappling, jiu-jitsu, all that stuff. And that was Ali and Tyson. Those are the only two that I could have seen like picking up kickboxing and Muay Thai. And I can't see any other boxer, heavyweight boxer. Oh, and if we're not talking about heavyweight boxers, legendary boxers, to me, it's always been Ali, Tyson, and Roy Jones Jr. In regards to being able to, if like just looking at them, like oh, they would have been able to have become like great
oh
MMA
man,
fighters.
now that you brought him up, man, Roy Jones in his prime was amazing.
Yeah,
Like
you
I think
imagine Roy
I think Roy
Jones.
Jones in his prime, without even training MMA, could have went in and knocked out some MMA guys just because of his speed and craziness. Like
Yeah,
his reflexes were so good in his prime that
insane.
like any MMA guys that aren't big on takedowns and stuff like that that would want to stand up and mix it up with him, whew, I think they'd be in for some trouble. Some of those guys.
Could you imagine Roy Jones adding legit Muay Thai and kickboxing to his game,
Oh, in his
and
prime, it
then
would have been
adding
crazy.
ground like good takedown defense?
He would have killed
Holy
everybody.
shit.
That guy was so fast, and his reflexes were just off the charts, man. And he had
That
power.
would be
Like watching Roy Jones in his prime was amazing.
that dude would knock you out moving backwards.
Your Highness said James lights out Tony. He actually tried to go to MMA. He got beat in the first
He got
round.
embarrassed.
James Tony.
He yo
Um,
he James Tony got an ankle pick and that was it.
yeah,
Yeah, Couture got an ankle pick on him and it's a wrap.
he fought an old MMA fighter at the time, so he was old. The MMA fighter was old. Uh,
He was old. He was like 40 years old. Tony and Couture was like 47 at the time, I think,
yeah, he was
or
even older.
46. Yeah.
But he fought a guy that was a great grappler. That was a problem.
Yo, but you know what's crazy? Randy Couture, he's known as a wrestler. That's what he did in his collegiate time, blah 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 blah, all that stuff. But he was actually was it the army? He was like an army boxing champ.
Yeah,
He could throw hands, but he wasn't taking the he was like not against James Tony. I'm an ankle pick him and that's it.
that's the thing is, with MMA is just so many ways to get it done
Yeah.
that it makes it really hard on somebody that really is, no matter how good they are at boxing, you just have that one skill set. But it's the same. It's this. It works the other way around too. That's why we can't really think of a heavyweight MMA guy. Like I think Stipe is probably the only one I'd say has a decent chance against a heavyweight boxer. Out of any like recent heavyweight champions I could think of.
And
Um,
we're talking about just has a chance.
yeah, just has a chance.
We don't really think he's gonna win. He has a better chance, but I don't think he's winning. Against yo, you know what? Oh no, yo, you know what? What other UFC Oh man, I blew it on this one. When I say, you're gonna be like, damn, it's true. And he was a champion. And I'm talking about prime. This person in their prime, not
Okay.
after the wars they had. Junior Dos Santos in his
Uh,
prime.
yeah.
Holy shit! And his boxing is legit.
Yeah. That would have been, I could see that. He would have a shot too.
Yes, his boxing is legit, and he could take. You'd have to hit him with a sledgehammer to go out.
Oh man, this is hilarious. Look at this question. I already know
Van
that.
Damme,
Van Damme all day.
Van
Steven
Damme legit
Seagal.
has a record like 12-0 or something kickboxing. Steven Seagal is a fucking joke.
Yeah, I mean, I respect Seagal a little more than you do, but Van Damme's still whooping his ass.
Nah, Seagal's a joke, bro. I've looked into him too much, and from legit combat sports folks and stuff like that, he's a joke. Like this, I mean, in regards to Aikido or whatever that shit is,
Yeah,
he's legit
well,
in
that's what I
regards to
mean.
that.
That not for a
That's it.
combat sport, but
Yeah, he's never actually competed in combat sports like real, like, yo, you're getting punched in your face, you're getting your shins freaking cracked all day. He's never competed like that.
somebody said Seagal ran from Van Damme at a house party.
Yeah,
Stallone said
suppose
that.
that's supposedly real. Yeah.
Yeah, that don't
Yeah.
surprise me. Van Damme was a beast, bro. Like,
Van Damme can legit fight. Like, he has a legit. Look it up. Like, you could go and look up his record. He had I think it was like 11-0, 12-0 kickboxing record or something like that. And then
Chuck
he transitioned
Norris.
into acting.
How about Chuck Norris versus Van Damme?
Chuck Norris.
Yeah, I agree with that. What about
Chuck
Chuck
Norris,
Norris versus Bruce Lee?
Bruce Lee.
I agree with that too.
But there's
How about
stories
Bruce
about
Lee
that. Like, they
versus
were
Mighty
sparring
Mouse?
for real, and Bruce would always have the upper hand.
Bruce Lee versus Mighty Mouse. That's a good fight.
It's hard to answer that
I
because
know.
I think striking, Bruce Lee would be better. But Mighty Mouse is so advanced in regards to MMA, in regards to the actual sport. To me, you know how I feel about Bruce Lee. To me, he's the father of MMA. He was the first one to bring that concept in, take from every combat sport, use what works, having no limits in regards to that. Be like water, you know what I'm saying? But and he was doing grappling at the time. He was doing judo, wrestling. He was doing all of that, submissions and all that. But man, that'd be a good one, you know. I'd still go with Bruce, man, because Bruce is Bruce.
Yeah, I got we just did that one. Get busy. He said Bruce Lee versus Chuck Norris. We both picked Bruce Lee.
But yo, Chuck was legit.
Chuck is legit. But I think I mean if you're just talking like a no holds barred fight, I gotta go with Bruce Lee.
Bruce taking it.
The one I don't know. There's not a I can't think I'm trying to think of it like what about like a lighter weight fighter? Thinking of like boxers of all time. You think somebody like um I don't know, maybe nah, you gotta be strong. It's your only shot. I'm trying to think of anybody that's like fast in boxing if they would have like a decent shot in MMA. I thought like
Nah,
Sugar Ray Leonard, but no, you gotta be strong, like hit hard, and that's really your shot.
you know what? You know what? No, you have a point. Man, I can't believe I missed this guy. Remember I said that there were three boxers that to me would do good in MMA? Actually, four. Add Sugar Ray Leonard to that. His
Yeah,
athleticism was insane. And he had power and just fast as heck. So I just picture him adding Muay Thai, kickboxing, and grappling to his game, and that dude could have been legit. And he had a freaking chin also. I can't believe I forgot him.
Yeah. No, I mean it's true, but I'm trying to think like without adding those things, he would have no
Oh no.
chance. You need
Oh
it like if you
no.
don't add anything else to your arsenal, you need hella power to just go in there and try to just pummel somebody.
No, I
Oh,
mean,
that's
so what?
that's good
Hold
too.
on. What do you?
You know what? Get Busy has a good point. He said, um, Sweet Pea Whitaker could have been awesome in MMA if he added all those other things to his arsenal too.
Yes. Damn.
That's another one.
Could have been insane.
That is a
But
good.
what were you talking about, Lee? You were talking about like just someone in the lower weight class in
Yeah, I was trying.
boxing that can come in and knock somebody out in MMA,
Yeah, like
but
I was
not
trying to
have all
think
the
if I could think
skills.
of one guy that could
I
just
can.
who Marvin Hagler maybe.
Damn it! You just brought two. Oh, three. There's three. Marvin Hagler, Hitman Hearns, and Roberto Duran. We're talking about like they have no other skill and they go in there and they have that chance to just land that goddamn shot and lay out an MMA fighter in an MMA fight.
Okay, yeah, I could do that.
Those three in the lighter weight classes, yes.
Yeah, I
Hitman
could see
Hearns,
that.
Hagler, and Roberto Duran. I could easily see them just slip a goddamn punch in there in little 4-ounce MMA gloves and catch them without the motherfuckers waiting for that. Boom! Lights out.
It could definitely happen. Uh, I just think, I guess in general, I think without adding anything to the arsenal of either sport, when one crosses over to the other, whoever's rules you're playing under has a huge advantage, no matter who it is. Like, you know, Mayweather beats McGregor after 10 rounds of boxing. I could say, I know you're not a big Conor fan anymore, but even today, if Mayweather stepped in the octagon with Conor, he's not getting out of round one.
Getting destroyed.
Yep. Round one, knocked out cold.
No, but I'm not huge into Conor anymore. But let's not get carried away. That boxing match, and I'm a big Floyd Mayweather fan, bro.
Yep.
I'm not buying that gimmick of he was toying with him. Oh, he could have taken him out anytime he want. So you're telling me Floyd could have finished that boxing match anytime he wanted to, but he couldn't put away a gassed McGregor. And when I'm saying this, a lot of folks that they like to come back and say he was on his way. He was on his way to get. He was about to get dropped. He was about to put him away. Yes, off of sheer exhaustion, and even that way, he was taking like 20 shots
And
and
he still
still
didn't go
hadn't
down.
gone down. So you're telling me that in the beginning of the fight, though, at any time, Mayweather could have just ended that boxing
Nah,
match.
Mayweather did it the right way.
No.
He knew that he had to get him tired and then go after it. If he would have tried to really knock him out early, he would have opened himself up to some
Yeah.
serious potential uh, responses. This is an interesting
Yeah.
question.
And he did, and Conor almost caught him with a couple of shots. That was just Conor's a skilled dude, but that's how
Yeah,
he was able to
his,
last
his
that long.
counter his counter punching ability is some of the best I've ever seen. Like his timing is just so good. Um,
Do you remember Mayweather's response and stuff when he came with that counter
yeah,
and he almost caught him and he grazed him with the uppercut?
yeah.
That's when he noticed, oh, I can't play with this guy. His counter game is no joke.
So Jeff says, do you think experienced boxers have an advantage in bare knuckle? You mean over MMA fighters or just in general?
I think he's talking about MMA fighter. Bare knuckles championship and that whatever that stuff has been going on has proved that the MMA fighter actually has the upper hand. I mean, they're used to fighting with little 4-ounce gloves. They're used to feeling, I'm saying, damn near bare knuckles already. And for what we've seen, yo, freaking this dude, goddamn, what's his name again? Lobov or Connor's boy? beat
Oh, Artem.
Paulie. Artem Lowell he beat Paulie in the bare knuckle.
Yep.
Gashed his face all up and all that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that the difference really to me comes down to the gloves, because even take the Mayweather and Connor fight, fighting with those gloves. Mayweather is the perfect example because those gloves are a huge part of his defense. He gets away with the shoulder roll and all that because of the way he can use those big gloves. And those
Yeah.
big gloves block a lot of things that when you're using MMA gloves or no gloves is even worse. And bare knuckle, you can't do half that shoulder roll stuff. That don't work. Like you're gonna get hit. You can put your gloves up like this, and right here, you already can't get hit. Your gloves are touching at this point, and that don't work. You got to be like this, and with no gloves on, and now you're opened up to hooks from the side. Being like this with boxing gloves blocks the front of your face, blocks the side of your face. It changes things. So I think that it makes. It, I think it I think that it kind of makes it's better of an idea because it's still basically boxing rules. So certain boxers will be good at it depending on their style of boxing and would definitely do well against MMA fighters, but others wouldn't. And what Jeff just said here is exactly true too. Paulie was a bad choice of a pro boxer in bare knuckle because he can never punch hard. Yeah, and he's another guy that's like Floyd with the quick defense. Nowhere near as good as Floyd at it, but still that his style is very defensive, and he was never a hard hitter. So if it's not going
But
to translate.
so is Artem. Artem is not a hard hitter either.
No, he's not that hard of a hitter, but he hits hard. Almost anybody hits harder than Paulie though.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, Paulie's pretty bad.
At the same time, you got to take this
Like,
into consideration, and this is something they've talked about this even in regards to like Mike Tyson. Boxers, they don't really know how to punch, and when I say that, it sounds crazy, right?
yeah,
But the
well,
thing is that boxers, they wrap their hands up like they're rocks. Talking about like a couple of inches under the freaking wrist, all the way up into the knuckles. They wrap them up so hard that you could throw those punches so hard without consequences. To
yeah,
the point that when you're in a real fight, these boxers, they break their hands because they don't know how to actually throw punches. Mike Tyson, in the few altercations that they got into in real life, he broke his hands. He spoke about this himself also. MMA fighters, they don't wrap their hands like that. And they already use little MMA gloves. So they kind of know how to throw a better punch bare knuckle wise. You feel me?
yeah. No, I would agree with that.
Well,
Bare knuckle wise is true. That is another advantage to an extent. Like you see more boxers breaking their hands and having hand trouble than you really see MMA fighters having that problem. Like even Floyd, how many times he broke his hands already? Um,
yeah.
so that's true too. Like a guy like Wilder, the way he throws his punches,
He
if
would break his hand
he'd break his hands in MMA throwing
immediately.
punches like that. This is funny. Serena says, "Okay, so in the comments, I see Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, Van Damme, Bronson, and Seagal scrub. Wait, fellas, but Jackie Chan got skills. Jackie
He
Chan do got
does.
some skills.
Jackie Chan is legit.
Jackie Chan is definitely legit.
And when I say this is because, like I've said, surely we consume a lot of combat sports
Yeah.
from all sides.
Yep.
So this is for me hearing like legit MMA fighters, kickboxers, and all that. And they talk about like actors and stuff like that. Jackie Chan is legit.
I definitely agree. All right. So physical strength and power, or speed and agility, which is the better advantage in a fight? That's a tough question because I think every fight is different. But to me, there's something that's not even listed there that's more important than all of them, depending on the type of fight you're having, which is timing. Timing can beat all of that when it comes to striking. If you're striking, as long as you have some power, like you could be fighting a guy with like 1.5 times your power, but if you're able to time your counter shots and make that person miss, all that power doesn't matter. That's why, like when Connor was at his best and in his prime and focused, he was a very hard guy to hit clean, and he hit very hard in return. But if he didn't have the timing he had, he would have gassed out in almost every fight because he would have been missing those shots. But he finished you because that timing was so good. So I think you got to throw timing in there. I would say,
And stamina,
and
endurance.
stamina is another one too. Stamina, timing. Um, yeah, I mean, stamina only counts if it goes long, but um,
But it's
I
really
guess to
important,
rank
man.
them in order, I would put timing number one because no matter if you're strong or you're fast, you got to land. So whether you're on offense or you're counterpunching, timing is everything. Timing is like the most important thing when it comes to a striking match. Anything to do with striking, timing for sure. And even to go in and shoot for takedowns and things like that in MMA, that's all timing too. It's when you change your level, what you do beforehand to change the level, whether you fake a shot, then go for it. You got to do that all in the timing of not getting hit by the other guy. So your timing has to be better than his, which it does tie into speed to some extent because the quicker you can do it, the more you could avoid paying for a mistake if you're fast enough, things like that. But I think timing goes number one out of anything because even on the ground, you're grappling. If you're let's say you're grappling with somebody on the ground trying to get a submission, and you're equally skilled on the ground with your opponent, the guy who's got better timing is going to end up winning that match because you're equally skilled. He's probably, he's going to end up probably eking out that submission that you're both going for just because he's going to go for it at exactly the right moment for that timing. So I'd have to say timing. Somebody else said heart. Heart counts too for sure. But if you just got
But
heart,
but
you
but
can't win. You're just
in
going to get beat up
regards to
for a
his
long time.
question, just to answer his question though,
Yeah.
physical strength and power or speed and agility, which is the better advantage in a fight? Me, I would say strength and power. And I'm assuming. I wonder if he's actually is. If you're speaking in regards to like just a fight, I'd go with physical strength and power.
Yeah, like a street fight, I would agree with that. Physical strength and power probably because speed and agility, you still got to take a long time to finish somebody in a street fight with just that. Physical strength and power can end it real quick. Boxing, fighting IQ is important too. That's very true. Very important. Um, and heart is definitely important too when you're in the mix of things. But heart by itself ain't gonna win you a fight. You got to know how to fight and have some heart. But heart is definitely important.
Hard to give you some brain damage.
Yeah, heart will definitely get you some brain damage if you can't fight. but but all the best have heart. When they get tested and they get pushed, they go through it. Like look at well, I mean, still to me one of the best fights was the call it Max Holloway and Ortega fight. How much heart did Ortega have in that fight? I mean,
Yeah.
that was the heart of a champion. And I'm kind of surprised that they haven't like come up with more fights for him. Like already, he can't still be. I mean, I know he got whooped, but that was a long time ago,
No, he got hurt twice. He was gonna make two comebacks already, and he
and
got
he got
hurt.
hurt. Okay,
Yeah, he's coming back now. Who the heck is he fighting again? I can't recall, but I know he's coming back now.
and then yeah, this is an interesting thing right here too. You weren't in here before. Nova said, "Did anybody see Fury licking Wilder?" That's crazy, right?
Yeah, dude's looking at his neck. He's like,
I was like, "Oh, what are you doing, bro?
yeah.
Like that's gross." I mean, he when they showed it on the replay, it looked like he didn't actually lick him, But he was right there, and Wilder was moving, and I was like, "Oh man!" Like at any point, he could have just licked a bunch of blood up on his tongue. I was like,
He
"Oh,
was supposedly saying that he wanted to taste blood in this fight. That's why.
yeah." And then yeah, so they said, I guess he did, but I
That's
mean,
disgusting.
all I know is Wilder got mollywop tonight,
Yeah.
like left and right, all over the place. Wilder just looked awful. He looked real bad.
I've never seen him gas like that though.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I think that came a lot of it came from the eardrum because I guarantee you tomorrow they're gonna say he blew his eardrum. There was way too much blood for it not to be that. Like, and it just wouldn't stop. Round after round after round, just kept like leaking out all over the place.
To me personally, it was all that heavy clinching,
That
the
that
heavy
plays a part in it
clinching,
too, for sure.
pulling his neck down, having him like holding his weight a little bit. To me, was that, and
And he's heavier.
he was 20 pounds
Yep.
muscle wise. He has no fat. He was 20 pounds heavier than the first time they met in regards to muscle, which needs a lot of oxygen, bro. And that's gonna tire you out. So I think it was a combination of everything, man.
Me too. I mean, I think those things definitely play a role. And I mean, think about it. Like, just losing blood in general affects you. But if you're losing blood like that out of your ear, and you got a popped eardrum, one you can't hear. If you can, it's very limited at that point. He probably had a ring in his ear the whole time, just you know what I mean? And that also throws your equilibrium off terribly. So you got that combined with Fury doing some good clinch work, pulling him down, laying his weight on him. He's the bigger guy overall. Um, you know, I just see that as a failed, um, you know, way to. Wilder just didn't have much chance with all of those things combined at that point. I think he could have overcome the other things possibly without the ear problem. But when you throw that in the mix, and if that is affecting your equilibrium, then you got all this weight on top of you, pulling you down. Every time they clinch, that's really just bad. I honestly thought, like, even though I thought that the stoppage under normal circumstances, I would have been like, why did they stop that fight? If if he wasn't getting mollywopped like that for round after round. But with the ear, I noticed before I mean, his corner was throwing in the towel anyway. Plus, the ref stopped it. But I noticed the ref, when that round started, kept looking at him in his face a couple of times, like real close. When he would separate them, he would just stare in Wilder's face. And that made me look at Wilder's face when they panned the camera angle around, and his eyes just looked gone. Like he just looked like he was almost zombie-ish at that point. Like just he had no real focus anymore. So I think the ref was almost looking for a opportunity to stop it, and his corner was thinking the same thing. Like, as soon as there's a little bit of action up here, we're just gonna throw this towel in.
To me, it was crazy. Still, that stoppage to me, still even like that, to me made no sense against a person. Wilder at any time in the fight, even the 12th round, can lay you out. He's one punch away from laying you out. So I found it extremely weird that the ref stopped it. And then afterwards, like you said, the coach is throwing the towel in anyways.
Yeah, but
That's
I
so
think that has to
weird
do
for
with
somebody that at any time throughout a fight, even up to the 12th round, has the power to lay you out. That's
I
so
think,
weird. He has the great equalizer.
and that's what I
Like
mean.
like Teddy Atlas calls him.
I think it would be very weird under normal circumstances, but that in the corner before that round started, his trainer kept putting that towel in his ear. In 1 minute he put it in his ear like 3 times, and blood was just still coming and still coming. So I think at that point he realized, like, if my fighter keeps going down the same path he's going and doesn't show anything this round, I'm gonna have to stop it, because that's really dangerous, man. Like, to when did he get knocked down the first time? Was it round 2 or 3?
I think it was three.
So early in the third round, he ended up getting knocked down, or somewhere in the third round, like middle, somewhere in that range, when he goes down. And the fight was stopped in what, 6 or 7?
Seven.
7.
Seven.
So from that moment, you got to look at it as say, and it was, so let's say round 3, 4, 5. So four, five, six, seven. Let's just say almost four full rounds. That's 12 minutes plus the 1 minute in between the round. So like 15 minutes straight. Blood is coming out of this dude's ear, and it's not stopping after 15 minutes. That's dangerous. You know what I mean? Like it's still coming.
I wonder what
if
was
you
it? A hook?
it was actually a little bit behind the head, but not all the way in the back. Like maybe like right here. You know what I mean? Like halfway behind. The glove is so big, it's hard to tell exactly where it landed. But it looked like it was like this. Like and that just messed everything up. That was the first time he went down because right after that he got back up, and I already noticed the blood coming out of his ear. That's why I said he had to pop something because if you don't have a cut there and you're leaking out of the ear like that, something popped in there.
But doesn't when they rupture your eardrum, isn't it because an actual punch lands in it, boom, and just the pressure?
Yeah, but I think that part of that glove still hit the ear because it's such a big glove, and that goes back to the old saying of boxing gloves versus MMA gloves, which is better. If you got hit right here with an MMA glove, you're not going to rupture your ear. But if you get hit right here with a boxing glove, it's still slamming into your ear at the same time. And it was a clean shot, hard. So Nova said Wilder was saying he wanted a body for his record. He got it. He got his own. That he did. Oh man.
Damn it, yeah.
Yeah, it was not a good night for Mr. Wilder.
He just looked bad. He had nothing for him at all.
Yeah, there was no response. Like no, the only thing he did was the same thing over and over again. Let me throw this little nonsense, not really committed jab followed by a crazy right hand. And that was
When
really
you
it.
look at it though, it was actually the same as the first time around in regards to the only reason he got a draw was because he dropped him twice.
Yeah,
But everything else, Tyson was schooling him.
yeah.
Only
Tyson is the
difference
more
was that
technical
this
boxer,
time, yeah.
and
Only
that
difference was
that's
that this time
that's why I
he got
always said it.
tired
Wilder
and dropped.
Wilder doesn't impress me that much. His power is impressive, but at technical boxing skill, like he's average. Like he's not an excellent boxer. He's just bigger than most guys, faster, throws his hands faster than most of them for his size. Like he's a good physical specimen, and his power is just crazy good. Um, so that gets you by for a lot of boxing when you don't have a bunch of guys that are extremely talented in your division at the time when you're fighting. But I said it from a long time ago. Uh, you put Wilder in the 90s or in the 80s or 90s,
No,
he's never a champion. Never.
no.
He won't make it.
The level of boxing,
Like
you know how I feel about it,
I
bro.
could never see Wilder in his prime beating Lennox Lewis in his prime. Not happening.
No.
Lennox Lewis was way too technical and skilled of a fighter. Wilder in his prime never beat Mike Tyson in his prime. Wilder in his prime, not beating Evander Holyfield in his prime. Wilder in his prime, not beating Riddick Bowe in his prime. He would have lost to all those guys from the 80s to 90s in that range. He just wouldn't
You
have.
know how I feel about it. To me, boxing has declined in terms of everything to me.
Yeah, I mean, you got a few guys like
Boxers,
I could
skills,
see.
everything.
I could see a couple of guys from today, not in the heavyweight division, a couple of smaller guys from today that would have been great to watch against some of the prior generations, but not many. Like Errol Spence Jr. would have been nice to see a little earlier. Um, he would have been entertaining.
I guess, but to me, he's not hanging with anybody. Yo, you could go back and just watch. Don't even listen to me. Like, if you think I'm just talking shit, anybody that's listening to this, just look at film, look at these boxers from now. Errol Spence, blah 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 blah, hitting bag, working out, training, whatever, and go back and find film of Sugar Ray Leonard,
Oh
Hearns,
yeah,
Hagler,
none of those guys.
Tyson, um, Hector Macho Camacho, even like dudes that people don't hold to high esteem in today's day. You go back and watch these people from the 70s, 80s, 90s, their movement, their skill, their angles, their everything. It's you can just see the decline in skill.
Yeah, I think something about the part of it must be just I don't know what it is, but I think a decent part of it is probably that even here, like in New York City, there's gyms all over the place. Boxing gyms used to dominate everywhere in the city, and now there's MMA gyms everywhere. So, and that's been that way for probably a good the last 10 years. So you think about these guys that join these gyms and they go in and they want to pursue a sport, you're getting less talent than you used to have because boxing gyms had all the talent before. And now you're splitting it. And when I drive past these places or I walk past these places, you usually see the MMA gym more packed than a boxing gym, except for like the classic boxing gyms of back then. Um, so I think that's part of it. And then I think something about the way boxing is trained must have changed too. Maybe as the trainers have changed over time, the science of it changed because you mentioned angles and things like that. You don't really see guys. The best guys today are guys that have great angles. Floyd Mayweather is undefeated because of angles. You know what I mean? It's angle speed. He knew how to use those things. Um, and
You're right. Most of those
Manny
great
Pacquiao had a
trainers
great
are
career throwing punches from crazy angles. Angles is a huge thing in boxing, and you don't see um, a lot of people today really making use of you know just using all the ability that you can to master angle usage. You hardly see that.
most of those great trainers. They're not around anymore. And
Yeah,
even the ones that we have left, they rarely train anyone anymore.
I think that's definitely part of the problem for sure.
It's just different. Yo, okay. Errol Spence, what's his weight class? 154? 147?
Spence,
What the
I
hell is
think
it?
I thought he was 147, but I could be wrong. I'm a little
So
out
he
of
would have
touch on
been
that.
going up against Sugar Ray Leonard, Hearns, Oscar De La Hoya. All these guys. Just go
Well,
back and
he's a
watch.
welterweight, so yeah,
So
147.
just watch these dudes train and watch these guys. Like when I watch even heavyweight fighters of old training, like you watch their footage or even their fights, you could just just watching it with your eyes, just watching. You're just like, okay, these guys are just better. You can see their punches, their technique, their movement, just
All right,
everything.
I'll give you one though. One guy to see back in the day, and I think you'll agree with me on this one. Terrence Crawford could have mixed it up with these guys back in the day. He's the one dude out there still boxing today that I think could have
Has
had.
legit skills.
Yeah, I think he could have.
Yeah. He would be one that I'd be okay. He could stack up against them probably. He has like legitimate skill.
Yeah, that's probably my one that I'd go with. When is he
And I,
fighting
I
next
just want
anyway?
people to know that even though I never fought professionally or anything like that, I've just been around it my whole life. Like in my neighborhood growing up, there were many dudes who were Golden Glove champions and this and that. Uh, I used to watch Kevin Kelly, the Flushing Flash. I used to watch him train. Um, yo, Lee, that Kevin Kelly was actually married to one of my elementary school teachers, Mr. Knapp's daughter.
That's what's up.
When
Yeah.
when he had the belts, he came to our PS 143 and everything like that, and he used to train at the right there in Flushing Meadow Park in the that police what is it called, that boxing stuff, that boxing gym there for the police and stuff like that. That's where he used to train. We used to see him.
Yeah, Police Athletic League.
Yeah. PAL, yeah, yeah. So like I've been around it, and Lee's been around it his whole life too. Dude has pictures. I think like 5 years old with Hector Macho Camacho, like in New
Yeah, I
York
was
City, like you kind of around that all the time.
yeah, I loved boxing, man, as a kid. And my father was a photographer and also friends with Iran Barkley. So that kind of, I was 5 years old watching like Barkley knock out Michael Elijah Day um, in Madison Square Garden. All Barkley's fights, because Barkley fought a lot in the Garden, not all his fights, because he did fight in Vegas and stuff like that too. But whenever he fought in the Garden, we were always right up front. My dad would get tickets, and we would sit up front, and my he would even get my dad to be able to shoot ringside, even though my dad, like, he was a photographer, but he wasn't a member of the media. But Barkley at one point was big, and he was the headliner of everything, and he was like, "That's my photographer." So he had my dad up there. He'd be like, "All right, what are you gonna say to that? You want the guy to fight in your venue? He's telling you that's the guy who's taking the photos for me." Then, my dad took a picture that I still have it somewhere. I don't know where. It might even be in my mom's house, but it's like a black and white picture of him in front of a graffitied up wall, and he's got two belts on his shoulder. My dad took that picture, and it was like a 5x7, and it just has like his record at the time, and it was a pretty cool shot. Um, it was definitely you see, here's an interesting thing, right? So and it says, who's better at their craft, the fighter who fights 8 to 10 times a year or the fighter who fights once or twice a year? Well, nobody really fights 8 to 10 because that's just too much. Because you got to have rest time. But
Well,
um,
Angela Hill has fought 6 times in under a year.
yeah, well, I mean, it happens once in a while, but you can't do that repetitively all the time. But the next part of it is law of repetition states the more times you spend practicing a given task, the better you'll be at it. And that is true. So
That's right.
I
Yeah.
would say people that are dedicated and train harder, whether they fight 2 times or 3 times or 4 times, but if they're always training, there's some people that are constantly training. Um, and I mean, there is a such thing as overtraining, but there are some guys that are just always ready. They could step in and still perform well. You see that in the UFC a lot. Somebody steps in with 2 weeks notice or 10 days notice and beats the guy who was had a full training camp. Um, some guys like that are just ready. Like Holloway is usually like that. Uh, then a lot of times though, what's interesting is you find the hungry guys that are waiting for the fight and wouldn't normally get that fight, but then they get it because somebody had to drop out, and you see that they end up winning. Like a young guy who you don't not know him, but he shouldn't have gotten that fight because he wasn't quite uh, at the level yet, but he gets it because somebody dropped out. At that point, you usually wind up seeing some good stuff. Some of those guys surprise you. There's a lot of times in DraftKings I'll pick a guy that came in with 10 days notice, as long as I know he's a decent fighter. If I know that guy's always ready, sometimes I feel like that could be an advantage. Honestly, you're always ready, and if you're a different kind of fighter than the fighter this guy's been spending a whole camp training for, it can create a problem for that dude. If you spend a lot of time training wrestling because you were supposed to fight a wrestler, and now all of a sudden you're fighting a Muay Thai specialist, it, you didn't train properly in a way, even though you had a whole training camp. And if that Muay Thai specialist is ready to go and he's well trained and he's in fight shape, he could definitely create some issues for the guy, even though the other guys had a full training camp. So I agree with, you know, the more you train, the more you are ready, definitely you'll be a better person at your craft. But there's also a part of it that's natural talent, because you can't really deny that. Like um, Floyd Mayweather, no, I don't care how much um, another guy trains. He could train every day to emulate Floyd Mayweather in the boxing ring. He's not going to beat Floyd Mayweather. You could train every day in a boxing ring trying to emulate Roy Jones Jr. in his prime. You're not going to be so. There's a certain point of it that's just God given talent that you have. Um, but all things equal or close to equal, I think the guy that trains extremely hard and is always ready to go, probably the better person, at their craft. It, as long as your general talent is equal. All right, get busy. Get busy. He's going to sleep. I'm about to wrap this one up too because I'm getting tired. And I see Potalu over there yawning. He's getting tired. But it was good chatting with you, bro.
Same here,
And
man.
it was good
Yo,
chatting with all
one
you guys
question.
online that
One
hung around.
one question I got for you.
Huh?
One question I got for you.
What's up?
Because I've been seeing something. I was reading an article about it about Ronda Rousey. Do you think she could come back and do anything?
In MMA?
Yeah.
Is she coming back to Bellator or she's coming back to?
I don't know. Like
I don't. I don't
she was
think
talking
Ronda
something.
Rousey should be fighting in the UFC if she's coming back. Like after how she went out and how she looked at the end, um, she should go to like Invicta and fight there one or two times and have to look
Dang.
really good before she goes to the UFC. That's my opinion. I think if she comes back to the UFC, the only way I could see that happening is if they are fair about it and say, okay, your last two fights were terrible and you haven't been fighting for what has it been now? 2 years? 3 years? How long has she not fought for?
I think it's like 3 years. I
Like
think.
3 years. So you haven't fought in 3 years. Your last two fights were terrible. You should fight an unranked opponent if you're coming back to the UFC. You should fight number 25. Okay? Like that should be your first fight. And if you don't look great against number 25, bye, Felicia. Gotta go.
You know what it is with her? To me, she could be just as a beast as long as she's mentally there.
I agree.
Those
But
last two
that's what I mean.
fights, to
Like,
me, she was mentally tapped out already. She
exactly.
wasn't even there anymore.
You got to come back. I believe anybody could come back because I semi agreed with you about Connor. That like I didn't think he was as off as you felt he was, but I felt like if Connor was just focused again, he could still be just as good. He's not that old yet. He just needs to be focused and train well and do whatever. And I think he looked really good against Cowboy, obviously. But I think Ronda could do the same thing. She could come back and look really good against somebody, but I don't think it's fair to her even to put her in there for her first fight back if she did come back against anybody in the top 10. I don't think it's fair for the other fighters. You've been gone too long. Your name shouldn't carry weight after that long of a time. So it's not fair to the other fighters that are working for it. And I don't think it's fair to her either because you're putting even more pressure on her because she was a star before. Let her fight number 15 or 16 or something like that. Look really good against that person. You could move her up quicker. If she beats that person, give her number 10. And if she beats that person, give her number 5. And if she beats that person, let her fight for the title. You know what I mean? Like something like that. I can't see, and I know they'll want to do it from a business perspective. Is going to be
It would be pay-per-view for sure.
Yeah, they're gonna want to throw her on pay-per-view and make her a superstar instantly. But I don't think that's the way to do it. If you do that, you have a much bigger chance of her not being successful in a comeback. And just for the record, is I got my man Powell over here. Daniel Powell says, please tell me you didn't just say Mayweather is undefeated when he should have lost to Luis Castillo their first fight. That is facts. I totally think he
right.
should have. But what I was saying is that
I'm a Mayweather fan. You're right, though, man.
In general, I was saying that there's a certain amount of God-given talent that you have. So no matter how hard you train, you're not going to ever be Floyd Mayweather if you don't have that ability. Certain people are just that way. Mayweather is one of them. It doesn't mean they can't lose because I agree he should have lost to Castillo in their first fight. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't have exceptional ability as a boxer. He does. And also somebody like Roy Jones. There's a few guys that are like that. Roy Jones to me, Roy Jones had even better reflexes than Floyd Mayweather in his prime.
Hell yeah.
Like his reflexes, like nobody can train and gain those reflexes. He had those as a gift.
Bro,
training can hone them and make them even better. But he started off light years ahead of almost everybody
Yo, his
even without
reflexes
training.
were so insane that his whole defense was just reflexes.
Yeah, literally.
It wasn't even using your gloves like Mayweather does. It was legitimately just reflexes.
Yeah,
That's how crazy his reflexes were.
it was insane how good that man was. I mean, it's also a shame when you saw him boxing as old as he was and getting knocked out. That was so sad to watch. But um, you know, it is what it is. All right. On that note, we gonna wrap it up. It's been a good conversation, you guys. Started off a little slow this evening because I came in and I was took a while to get somebody else on with me, trying to figure that one out. But at least we know the new service works. I hope that the stream was clear for everybody, and that I'll watch it back later and check the voice levels and all that. But I think it came out pretty decent.
Yo, how am I coming through right now when I talk?
You sound fine to me, bro.
Yeah, whatever the hell you're using right now. What the hell? Let me see. What the hell? V mix call it. That thing works great, bro.
Yeah, I mean you look pretty decent. I'm able to give a higher bit rate to that. Like my camera looks crazy good because it's an actual camera. But considering you're coming in over the internet, and probably using a camera that's like, a little cell phone camera or whatever, it's not that bad at all. And if you had like you got a hat on, so your face is a little dark, but if you had like a light on your face, you look pretty clear because your background looks pretty decent. It's not bad. I think
Yo.
there you go. But it's been fun, guys. Uh, I'll jump on probably tomorrow. I'm gonna go and pick up a 2019 Shield Pro, plug that into the new computer, and I'll do the first video that's actually an instructional video tomorrow with this new software, and we'll see how that goes. So I'll set up a 2019 Shield Pro from scratch, and I'll do that live tomorrow, and I'll queue up everybody's questions, so I won't answer them while I do it. There you go. I won't answer you guys while I do that, but I'll queue them all up in the queue, and then I'll pop them up when I'm done, and I'll answer everybody's questions at that point. Go backwards. So you have a good
I
night,
can't rotate my camera. Hmm.
and I will post Serena's last statement because I 100% agree. She has the final word tonight because I agree with her 100%. To watch old school fighters is to see a masterclass in skill. The evolution of boxing is disheartening. Good night. You have the last word, Serena, because that
Amen.
is correct. Amen to that.
Amen.
Good night, y'all.
All you have to do is watch it.
Everybody, it's been real. Peace out. Good night.
Peace.